All right, time for our last day of Chapter 10, Lesson 3. We'll be reviewing just the processes of mean, median, mode, and range. So on the note paper I gave you there, you will find 6 different questions. We're only going to do 3 of them. We're going to do the evens 2, 4, and 6. So that'll provide me with 3 more in case you need some help going over these 4 items. Now, each and every time, since we're doing the group set of mean, median, mode, and range, I'm going to start by putting my numbers in order from least to greatest. I know that you don't need to do that for the mean or the average. However, since we're doing all 4, we're going to just start there each and every time. That way I can keep track of my different steps as I'm doing them. So I find my smallest number in my data set, and that's going to be the first on my list. I cross it out off my list so I know I've used it. So I have 18, followed by 28, 38, 46, 48, 72, and 93. So how many did I write down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many are in my data list? There are 7, so I know I got them all. So my first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the mean. Once again, I have these all color-coded, so hopefully it'll be easier to follow the different steps. So as I'm doing the mean, that means I have to find the average. So we have to add all of those together and find their total. When I use my handy-dandy calculator and I add all those together, I get 343. Then I simply divide by how many are there. 343 divided by 7. So 7 will go into 34 4 times, which is 28. I have to borrow in order to subtract, and then I have 14 minus 8, which gives me 6. Bring down my 3, and 7 will go into 63, 9 even times, which gives me a remainder of 0. So I know my mean, my average of the data set for question 2 is 49. So now I need to find my median, and once again, the median means the middle. So we're going to cross them off, one on the left and one on the right, until I find the middle one. I have an odd set of data. There's only 7. So I know since it's an odd set, I'm going to be able to find my middle one without having to do any math. So I cross off my first set, my second set, my third set. That leaves me with 46 in the middle, no math to do. I simply know that my median is 46. So what is my mode? Well, once again, mode is the one that is written down the most number of times. They're all only written once, so there's no mode. And then my range, once again, I'm going to find the distance from the highest point to the lowest point. So I'm going to find the difference and subtract 93 minus 18. I have to borrow from the 9 in order to subtract, but that's going to give me a total of 75. So I know my range is 75, and I have found all 4 of my data set. Easy peasy, all right? All right, well, let's look at number 4 on the back of your paper then. So let's look at question 4. Once again, I have a set of data that I'm finding mean, median, mode, and range for, so I'm going to start by putting them in order from least to greatest. So my smallest number in this data set is 16, and then I have a 39 and another 39, a 61, a 67, another 67, 75, a 76. All right, so that looks like all my data set. How many did I write down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there are 8 that I crossed off, so I know I have all of them written down. So, once again, step by step. We're going to start with mean, and mean means average. So I have to find my total sum of all of those digits, pick up my handy dandy calculator, and add them together, and I find out that they equal 440. Then I divide by how many are there. We've indicated there are 8. So my numerator, my top number, goes inside my division box. I divide by my bottom number, my denominator. And 8 goes into 44, a total of 5 times, because 5 times 8 is 40. I have a remainder of 4 and bring down my 0. Then 8 will go into 40 5 times, so I don't have a remainder. Therefore, my mean, my average of the data set for question 4 is simply 55. Now we're going to find our median. And once again, with our median, we're finding the middle, and this is an even data set. So reviewing those steps that are in the green box up at the top, if it's an even set in our data, then I know that I have to take my middle 2 and add them together and divide by 2. The only way I don't have to do that is if it's the exact same number. So let's see what we got. So we cross off our first ones at the beginning and the end to find our median, and then we work towards the center. We cross off our next 2, and then our final 2. That leaves me with 61 and 67. Not the same number. So I have to add those together. When I add those together, I have 128. And then I'm going to divide by 2 because we're finding the middle of those 2 numbers or the average of 2 numbers. So I take 128 divided by 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times, which is 12. I have a remainder of 0. I have an 8, bring it down. And 2 will go into 8 4 times. So I don't have a remainder. Therefore, I know my median, my middle number, would be 64. Notice that the median does not have to be a number in the data set. Next, I look for my mode, and once again, mode, M-O, starts with the same word or same letters as the word most, M-O, so I'm looking for the ones that are listed there the most often. In the question 2, we didn't have any, but I do see that I have a couple here that are written more than once. So I have a 39 and a 67. So which one's my mode? Hopefully you're saying both of them. Because if they are both there the same number of times and they are there more often than anything else, then I have to keep both of them. I could have 2, 3, 4, 5 different modes in a data set. And once again, just like on question 2, I could have no mode. So I'd write down 39 and 67, which leaves me finding the range. And the range is once again finding the distance between the biggest number and the smallest number. So my range from 76 to 16, I stack them and subtract, and I find out that that is 60. So my range is 60, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, have all 4 things down. So we're ready to move on. Let's finish up with question 6. Now on question 6, I'm going to want you to do this one. Try it on your own. Once again, it's not about are you perfect, it's can you persevere and go through the process. And if you do get stuck, then just simply ask for help and we'll be around to help you. So find your 4 answers and come back and check. So hopefully you have your 4 answers like I asked. And you should have started, or I would suggest that you start, since we're finding median, mode, and range, and they have to be in order from least to greatest, so you put them in order from least to greatest. Once again, you could have just found the mean by doing the math first and then had to put them in order. But on your paper, then I should be able to see your list from least to greatest of the order of 12, and then 13, 21, 31, 33, 40, 57, 65, and finishing up with 88. When you count how many you wrote down, and you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you know you have all 9 written down, so you should have been good to go. Then to do the mean, then you should have gone through the process of adding those all together to find their total, and then dividing by the 9 that are there. So on your handy dandy calculator, when you type in all 9 numbers, you get 360. And 360 divided by 9 then should have given you an answer of 40. So your mean should be 40, and then your median. So your median, it was this easy one to find the median, the middle number, because it's an odd number of data set, and that's always the easiest ones. So we cross out, from front to back in groups of 2. Then you had your first set that you took off, and then your second, followed by your third and fourth to end up with 1 in the middle. So you should have found your median as 33. Your next question that you were asking was, well, what is the mode? Which one is written down the most often? And there isn't any, right? So hopefully you found that there was no mode because all of them are only written down once. And then for your range, you should have done a math problem, finding the difference between the highest number and the lowest number. So you had 88 and 12. And when you subtract them, you should have gotten 76. So were you able to get to all 4 of the correct answers? And if you weren't, do you see why your answers might have been wrong? If you need help, please ask. We want to help you, but this is a short and quick video on reviewing the processes of mean, median, mode, and range. You now have 6 questions to do as your assignment.